This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. We're here, it's 1:30 in the morning, and Conor Benn has gained his revenge over Chris Eubank Jr tonight, Adam, here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Just your initial reflections and reaction to that fight.
Firstly, Andy, I have looked all over London for a Boxing News in the last 48, 72 hours and was unable to get one, so I was very disappointed about that. However, we didn't need a magazine tonight. We didn't need anything other than the story and the spectacle and the incredible atmosphere that was once again dished up for us. We're very fortunate to be in this generation where Turki Al-Sheikh is putting on enormous fight nights with cracking matches, and I think sometimes we take it for granted because we work week in, week out on boxing, but if you take a step back, I think what we've witnessed in April and here tonight at Tottenham, 2 huge stadium shows, 2 unbelievable events. I mean, to have Chris Sr turning up last time, to have 50 Cent turning up this time, you saw the celebrities all around ringside. You saw the fans all coming back, 60-odd thousand, and yeah, this is done because of storytelling, because of an amazing history, a wonderful legacy from dads to sons, the names of Eubank and Benn etched in history forever, and tonight we get a Benn victory. And it was a beautiful boxing display by Conor, really, really good, and he deserves his success after a very, very tough few years.
Obviously, it was quite a dominant performance for Conor. Most people would struggle to give Junior a round tonight. Don't really take anything away from Conor's performance because he stayed measured, he stayed controlled. It would have been very easy for maybe his emotions to get the better of him, because I know how much it would have meant to him to get that revenge tonight.
He told me they nearly did, but he kept on the plan.
But obviously there's going to be a lot of question marks over Junior,
sure.
And on social media a lot of people questioning the weight front and how much of a factor him trying to cut down to 160 again played a part, because he never seemed like he could get going tonight. He seemed quite flat. Did you see somebody there in Chris Eubank Jr who the weight just, this is the one where the weight was just too much and took out of his performance?
Yeah, I was quite surprised that he agreed to 160 again for the second fight. I thought he might want 162, 163. However, having said that, he seemed to, at least in front of our eyes or social media's eyes, struggle more last time with the weight, and it seemed to be more comfortable, and maybe they took an earlier look in camp with Bomac. But yeah, it was a flat performance from Chris Jr. There's no hiding that. It was a disappointing one. He never really got going. He tried very hard. The punches just weren't clean, they weren't landing, the jab was poor. So yeah, it's a huge amount to do with what Conor Benn did right, but also I think that there's lots of questions you could ask, whether it was the weight making, whether it was the 12 rounds he had last time, the exhaustion after April, the fairly quick turnaround to November, whether he's 36 and Father Time is catching up with him. I asked Carl Frampton in commentary about the Jamel Herring fight, and he said he just wasn't there. I remember David Hay calling me up the day after the second Bellew fight and saying he couldn't really see the punches coming, he couldn't just react, and he knew he was finished. I don't know, because I haven't spoken to Chris afterwards exactly how he felt, but if he felt like that in there, he should, seriously think about what he wants to do now. He's got twins on the way, he's made a lot of money. There'll be a little bit of a clamour for a third fight because it's 1-1. I think Conor doesn't want that. He wants to go to welterweight. So if that ever happens again, it's going to take time. What does Chris want out of it? Maybe he moves to super middle. He might not want to go out like that. He got through the 12 rounds just about. But it was quite sad to watch Chris tonight, I thought. As great as it was to watch Conor, it was a sort of bittersweet one because we followed Chris all through his career. Conor's 29, Chris is 36. Yes, the weight. Yes, maybe April. Yes, maybe the leg's not quite there anymore. A mixture of stuff. Only the camp know, and it'll be up to them to make a decision on where to go next.
So on the theme of Conor, as I mentioned, it was a very strict and measured performance from himself, dominating the fight. the 12th round he almost got that stoppage victory he was craving as well. Did you feel like it was coming when you're going to that last minute of a fight?
It very nearly did come. I mean, I think if he'd had another minute, it would have all been over. I'm quite glad that Chris made it through and he gutted it out down the stretch last time and won those 11th and 12th rounds and cemented the win. And this time he showed his heart and bravery to get through on a really poor night for him. Chris knew early on that he was in trouble, and that's credit to the man to stand up, almost take his beating, take his punishment, and the respect he gave Conor afterwards, I thought was really, really impressive. He was clapping him. I don't know if you saw when the decision was made, and then the words afterwards were only kindness to Conor. It's his night, and yeah, I'm really pleased about that. There seemed to be more respect for them, obviously, after the first fight, and the build-up was a little bit flatter than it was first time round, certainly for us with the controversy and the eggs and all of that, but I think that it was always going to be a more tactical affair tonight. It wasn't going to be the War of April, which will stand as one of the great scraps. But tonight it was different. It was about a performance. It was about executing a game plan and who was going to get their tactics right. And I thought Bomac and Chris would maybe get that right, but from the first minute of the first round, I thought Chris was not himself, and I thought Conor boxed absolutely brilliantly. I loved his jab tonight. I loved his body work. I loved his feet. I loved his attitude. I thought he was terrific.
Just one undercard fight I'm going to touch on.
Only one?
I know, but some good
Great night, wasn't it?
One which was a bit controversial in the Esserman fight.
Yes.
What did you think of the knockdown before the stoppage? Obviously, the ref looking like he was jumping in. What did you make?
It was a bit of a disappointing end, actually, as well, because Echo seemed hurt as well, and thankfully he was okay. But it was all a little bit odd, that last minute of the fight. I thought it was a cracking matchup. Catchwell looked brilliant for 4 or 5 rounds, and then Echo, the engine, coming back at him, and so brave with the nose damage and the cut. The eye was swelling up, and Jack was cut. It was a great fight, really good fight, and it would have been very interesting if Echo had managed to get through, because it was a fight at 2 halves almost. But Jack found himself again. He hurt him. It seemed to be a sort of spurious knockdown, and then he got to his feet, and I wasn't quite sure whether the ref was breaking them or not, and I think there was a bit of confusion, and of course Jack carried on, and Echo got floored properly then. So I think it was a little bit unlucky for Echo, but maybe Jack would have done the same anyway. I mean, he was certainly hurting him. He'd hurt him early in the fight. He dropped him heavily. I think it was in the 4th round. Echo did brilliantly to come back. He showed all the powers of resistance and resilience again. But yeah, I mean, look, the right guy won in the end, and he won with a dramatic finish, and thankfully Echo's good, and Jack can move on, and he looked really good at times tonight. I thought he looked really switched on, so maybe he did need that little shift, that move to the States, just to give him something else. And he's 32, and he's going to fight for a world title in 2026. I mean, there's so many of our Brits that are going to be fighting for world titles next year. You know, we talk about Conor Benn. I'm sure he will. We think Jack Catchwell will. We know Dalton Smith is going to in January. It's going to be a great Josh Kelly. It's going to be a great year for us, I think, in British boxing.
Adam, it's a pleasure as always. Enjoy the rest of your night. Get home safe.
Cheers, Ant.